Hello everybody and welcome to this week's episode of Surf RI. I'm here today with our distinguished guest, Hank Henry, the Birdman Protzman, professional windsurfer. Hank, it's good to have you.
Great to be here.
Do you think you could start off by telling the fans a little bit about your history?
Sure. I grew up here in East Greenwich, Rhode Island.
A local boy.
A local boy. Went to all my school there, and then I also went to sailing school at East Greenwich Yacht Club. I spent 6 years of sailing there, and that helped kind of get me into the water sports when I moved away, and I went to Key Largo for what I say the college of life. I didn't go to college, but after high school I moved down there, and I got involved with the first windsurfing shop in South Florida and became an instructor right away. And got into surfing right away because we used to travel up the coast and we would be in search of wind and waves, and sometimes we would only have waves. And I had a couple friends from California that surfed, and they took the time to teach us how to surf.
And inevitably you came back to the great state of Rhode Island, arguably one of the best spots on the East Coast for surfing. Could you tell us a little bit about what brought you back to the state?
Well, I came back in 1983 for about a year and a half during the America's Cup. I came back to do some boat work, and I was actually getting sponsored for competing windsurfing back then, and started traveling around. Used this as my home base for a little while and learned all the local spots.
All right, great. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in a minute, and I'd like to hear about some of those spots.
Okay, great.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Sure, my neighbors Gene and Louise, they may be superheroes with superpowers, but that doesn't make them so super at saving energy and money. I may not be able to harness the power of the elements, but I save significant cash and help the environment with appliances, electronics, and windows featuring the Energy Star label. So discover your own energy-saving superpowers. Go to ase.org/consumers.
Mom, Dad's making fondue again.
Welcome back to Surf RI. I'm your host, Johnny Boats, and this is my guest, Hank Protzman. Let's get right back into it. You were going to start naming some spots in Rhode Island.
Well, when I came in 1983, I met all the local guys at a place called Matunic, which is it's in between Westerly and Point Judith, closer to Point Judith. It's a very unique break. It has a reef that runs for about a half a mile into a channel break, and then down the coast from Matunic towards, you have some other breaks, Green Hill, we have Quanticottag and Misquamicut down by the Connecticut border. And then around the corner of Point Judith, you have Scarborough and the famous Narragansett Beach. And from there, you can work your way over in the state on the islands to Jamestown, Newport, and the part of Rhode Island that nobody ever gets to, Tiverton and Little Compton, which is very pretty and very unique.
So tell me a little bit, what do you prefer, windsurfing, stand-up paddleboarding, or your basic surfing?
I think the stand-up paddle sport is gonna just take onto the scene. It's already growing at a rapid pace because it's such a versatile sport. It just does not have to be done in the waves. It can be done on lakes and ponds, and you don't have to have, waves. And it's a great core workout. And I mean, I love windsurfing. Windsurfing is my sport that I competed in. And they're all good. They're all, it's just fun to be in the water. So for each his own.
So you've traveled quite extensively. Could you tell us some of the places where you've been? Some of your favorites and least favorites?
I've been to South America, Mexico, all throughout the Caribbean, the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Dominican, and the Southern Islands, Margarita, Aruba, Bonaire, and been to Hawaii many times.
Wow, so quickly, how does Rhode Island stack up?
Unbelievable. I mean, the conditions here are great, and I actually surf all winter.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for coming to the show.
Great.
It's great to see you. I hope you come again soon. Everybody, thank you very much for tuning in to this episode of Surf RI. We hope to see you next week.